It's important to realize the difference between marketing yourself and how a company like Coca-Cola or 7-Eleven or Walmart is going to market themselves is completely different. You have to market like you're a nobody. They can put out something very tame that's not going to get them into any litigations or any situations with, HR or whatever. And then you you almost have to put yourself at risk with showing the raw, unfiltered version of you. Because if you put out a tame version of yourself, then it's not going to interrupt the pattern. It's not going to get people's attention. So, what can you do? What can you control? What are the factors, the variable factors, like in math, that you have control over? That would be what you have no gatekeepers with, which is one, first and foremost, is that inner voice that God gave us, the inner chatter that we choose to listen to. The self suggestions, as Napoleon Hill goes over, is not a game because you are rehearsing your own failure most of the time by staying stuck in your derp loop that you're so used to. What you have to do is override it. Over time, it will become louder than the negative chatter. But at first, there will be collision. So you have to repeat what you must become until you become it. How do you do that? Through understanding what you must repeat. Number one, the mental chatter, like we just went over. Number two is going to be general baseline confidence, right? Which is based upon that mental chatter, I believe. So I'm going to put that in that same category. But number two is going to be affected by the baseline confidence, which is your mental chatter, which is your voice. Not even necessarily the loudness, because at first you probably will have to force yourself to speak a little bit louder. I get told all the time that I'm loud, right? And I don't think I'm loud enough, at least not in the right way, to where I can be more powerful with the texture of my voice. Owen Cook will say all the time, you must merge with the word. And what he means by that is essentially it's more like you can do it quietly. You can do it a little bit louder. It's more about just the expression of the voice has its full capacity and you're fully using your expressive units. Your mental bandwidth must let go of all of the things that are in the background. Like he said in a really old video about 3, 4 years ago, he was on a beach in California and he said, you're pushing down the beach ball under the water, pretending like it's not there. But just like you're using your arm strength to keep the beach ball underwater and eventually it's going to come up, splash, and hit you in the face, you're using all this mental bandwidth to keep the problem at bay. What you need to do is let go and stop trying to control the outcome. If you're trying to control the outcome, you're essentially not showing faith in the situation. One, two, you're taking it too serious and logical, and you can't do that. You can't overanalyze the play when you're in the middle of the baseball game. You have to, when you're on the field, kind of trust your training, your instincts. So, how do you train? One, doing what I'm doing right now on camera. Videotape yourself for one a day, 10 minutes a day. Videotape yourself, watch it back. You don't even have to post it. I do this because I make YouTube videos, but I actually started this YouTube channel because Julian Blanc, Julian himself on YouTube, said record yourself every single day for an hour a day, and then he said an hour a day. So if you want to stretch it to an hour, do that. That way you can see yourself when you start to break down a little bit, and then watch it back. And he suggested the same thing. You don't have to upload it. But then I was like, hey, if I'm going to talk, I'm going to upload it because I used to do videos like this a long time ago when I was 18. Now, Owen brought up the same thing today. He goes, you're on a phone, right? You have $1 billion infrastructure in this thing. This phone is going to, you take a video and you push it out to someone and you upload it. You take a video talking about something. There's AI in the internet that will listen to what you're talking about in the phone, in the video, and it will suggest it to the audience. You can use AI to do the title, thumbnails, tags. I do that for all of my YouTube. Why are you overthinking? Use the resources, right? It's like someone that's not using the internet back in the day or YouTube when it first started. You're going to suffer the consequences by not getting on the train early. Same with these habits. You're going to suffer the consequences if you don't get on the train early, but it's always fixable. but it's better to do it now. So you start working on the baseline confidence. Camera, social skills is the secondary thing, because you can do it on camera all day long, and that's going to help your social skills. But you have to go out there, and this is what I'm working on doing actively, finding the time and even, making the excuses not to go out and do it, and to conquer that. But also to go out and have your adventure time, as I like to call it. Go out and have your adventure time. And so your deep work's going to happen regardless. We have to show up to our job for 8 hours. You have to think. As a man, you're going to be thinking about your problems in the background. Girls be a little bit more free flowy about it, I tend to notice. But as a man, you're going to have to learn to let go and to focus on your deep work. And same when you're in adventure time. You have to let go of the work. That's hard for me to do. When I'm out trying to enjoy myself, I have a really hard time just letting go and enjoying myself. And that's the problem, because we're trying to be so logical and a vegetable that's good for you, when really you need to loosen up and be the candy that people want to partake in. And you can still be smart and wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove, like the Bible says. It's all in how you use your social skills. And I believe everything in life is social skills. It's sales, it's communication, it is persuading someone to your belief, even evangelism, which is the most important aspect of Christianity. Once you fully have a grasp on it, how are you going to wake somebody else up to this reality? How are you going to make them understand? And Owen touches on this too, where he says he sees street preachers out there, and they have good intentions. Jesus is the Messiah. He is the Son of God. You're going to go to hell if you don't understand what's happening. You don't understand you're choosing a life away from God. But it's not connecting on the same level. They don't have the ears to hear, the eyes to see. So what Owen was saying is finding a way to meet them in the middle. How do you meet them in the middle? Well, because they're not going to see it. It's too high of a perspective. So you have to bring it down to their perspective. How do you do that? You got to work on your social skills. You can't do that. You can't help and understand what they're understanding and help them understand what you're trying to get them to understand, a higher perspective, if your mental bandwidth is being used in anxious mental chatter. So you have to learn to overcome that. And that's going to be a muscle, the release muscle. There's a control muscle where we try to control everything, the outcome, what we're saying, how to say it perfectly. And then there's a release muscle. And, the more that you get into that release muscle, self-suggestion, that's why sometimes you don't always have to do it yourself. You can just listen to people like Owen Cook, like the Bible, Jesus Christ. You take in their energy and then it affects you. Or Napoleon Hill, self-suggestion audios, literally like 8 hours of just self-suggestions. Or you can look at Elmer O. Lockhart Jr. It's going to be a flywheel, either way you look at it. Whether it's positive or negative, it's going to build upon itself. So just like I was saying earlier, anything outside of your paradigm, you can't see it. So you only have so much brain power, okay? We're not God. So where our free will is choosing to laser focus in at, our RAS, whether positive or negative, that's what we see. So like Napoleon Hill was saying, your life doesn't bend to what you want to happen. It bends to what you focus on happening. You may want this thing over here to happen, but you're focused on the negative. So your RAS is picking up that negative. Even if you don't feel it, you have to look at the thing that you want. It's funny, I just looked at the light. So it's like at Jesus Christ, the light, the way, the truth. You have to force yourself, and the paradigm, the light is so bright that at first you're so used to looking at, when you're in the movies and you go out and it's like, oh, that's what it's going to be like at first. It's going to be overwhelming. Like Owen Cook was saying, anything outside of your paradigm you can't see. Even Bob Proctor.
It's important that we grasp how the mind
one
works,
of the leading
and that we understand the relationship of the body to the mind. It's our results that we want to change. See, all the energy there ever was or ever will be is 100% evenly present in all places at the same time.
So
everything's energy.
These people are like OGs in the self-help sphere. Same with Napoleon Hill. Bob Proctor would say you got to change your subconscious paradigm. Napoleon Hill is basically saying the same thing, the self-suggestion, the auto-chatter that's going on automatically, the repeated loops. You must repeat what you are until you become it. So right now we're repeating negative stuff, and we're also repeating, like, I just caught myself not talking as loud as I wanted to or as expressively. Sometimes we automatically gate ourselves, we restrict ourselves. So instead of getting all anxious and worried on top of that, right? You notice it, you tweak it, and you trust yourself with the release muscle to find that flow. It's a whole process. So you have to look at other people and how they're able to do it. And I like to look at 4 or 5 different people and understand the spider web of how it's all related. Like Napoleon Hill, Henry Ford, right? I notice it comes up in couplets or triplets sometimes, or Bob Proctor and Earl Nightingale. And then sometimes it'll trickle down, like to Sharon Lecter, who's with Napoleon Hill, the co-author. And I believe she also works with Bob Proctor now. And you'll see an overlap, like with Ty Lopez, Gary Vee. And then later down the line, I found Owen Cook and Julian Blanc, and I realized that Owen Cook always knew Ty Lopez way back when I first discovered him. So you'll find overlaps, right? And especially when you can compare it to the overlap of the true truth, Jesus. Think of this, right? All the stuff we're saying, being able to speak loud, have confidence. But Napoleon Hill said today, the man who can command respect without demanding it. Command respect without demanding it. So you're not demanding it like Hitler did. You're like, you will respect me or I'll kill you. No, you command respect without demanding it. Just like Jesus Christ did. He commanded respect. In fact, didn't demand anything until his dying breath was forgiving. So the best example is in Jesus. And you can see that he spoke to many large crowds, probably having to project his voice. He had to be confident because he had to stand up to the demons, to the people, to the doubters. He had to lead. So it's good to be confident, but it's good to be rooted in the correct confidence, which is understanding, why you're confident. And you don't have to have a reason to be confident. It's actually Owen Cook, and I believe this as well. You really should have the why to be confident is your reason for yourself, right? Your I want to do this because it makes me fulfilled. Just like the speaking that I'm doing, or Owen does the free tours because it's fulfilling for him to help people. But it also helps the self-mastery of what you're doing overall. So you're having a mixture of both. We get paid by the value that we bring, not the amount of hours that we work. Although sometimes the amount of hours that we put into something will affect the value that we bring when doing that thing. So it's good to spend silent hours so that you can command respect with the knowledge that you bring, with the actions that you take, instead of talking so much about it, because that actually wastes our energy, or, and then get to work. And when you speak, you can do so in a manner that is, you're filming, you're analyzing, it's almost like a boxer that films his spars and he can look back at it. It's for analysis. So it's not for boasting. So trauma and addiction is basically what gets us looped in those bad habits. The smoking habit, the drinking habit, the imposter syndrome, the over negativity, the over doubt, and super anxious people that cry under pressure because, they just can't take it. And that's because of trauma and addiction. The loop, we try to mask, but you can't mask it. So you must feel through it. You can't ignore it. You must go through the jitters, so to speak, just like when an alcoholic quits, or, like people get thrown in jail and they're on hard drugs and they just got to throw it up and shake it out. Shake it out. Shake, until they are done and ain't nothing about it, So sometimes you just got to sit there and suffer. Sometimes the answer is to suffer, because the longer you keep going in this middle ground, the more you're just going to keep thinking it's kind of okay, and then time's going to slip you by. So you might as well have the slap in the face right now, and right now, and then you can wake up from the slap in the face and get to moving. There's a parasite sticking on you, like causing this pendulumic swing, right, into the group think. The demons are wanting you to conform to mediocrity, conform to the crowd. They don't want you to find the truth. They want you to doubt it, think that it's crazy. They want you to think that other people's successes are faked, that you can't do it unless you cheat. And that's just not true. There's so many people, and this should upset you. It upsets me in a way that will motivate me to get out of it. There are people living their best lives. Health, wealth, love, and happiness, all the way maxed out. And that means you can do it too. So the longer that you start, the longer you keep pointing your finger at them and going, oh, it's just because this and that, Illuminati. I get it. The Illuminati is real. But not everyone's just rich and famous because of that. You can build a process and a system yourself. Just like Owen Cook says, if you have 10 to 20 people in every single city that are fans of you, super fans, you're a millionaire. You're a millionaire. Back in the day, 100 years ago, you got your surrounding city, and maybe someone rode a horse into your town and bought from your shop, if you were lucky. We live in a day and age where you guys watching me on YouTube right now, you could be in a different country for all I know. We may have never met each other in person. So take advantage of that. Build the skills, confidence, communication, speaking loud, not just loud, but how you use your voice. Your voice is your instrument. This is your tool. How do you use it? Business is just people walking into rooms and saying things. So what rooms are you walking into, and what are you saying, and why? What's the point? I like to think if you can't come up with a why for your son or daughter coming into the world, which I don't have yet, but what are you doing for them? What do you want them to see you build? That's my why. That's why I read so much. That's why I make these videos, because I want to be able to provide a structure for them. It's not even about maxing out my dollars, which is great, but it's about helping them do this much earlier than I was able to, much earlier. The parasite will force you to resonate with lower things, and it will force you to get off topic, kind of like I just did then. That parasite, the demons, are very real. They've been here for thousands of years. They were fallen angels. They are fallen angels from heaven, working hand in hand with Lucifer. And Lucifer, if he can trick a third of heaven, you think he can't trick you? These beings have been around for thousands of years. They can and will come to destroy you. So how you fight them back, obviously with the Bible, with the Word of God, but also by getting your life together, by stop being a drifter. You're no longer a wanderer. If you've watched this whole video, you need to look up Napoleon Hill auto-suggestions and play it, because that's going to be the step that changes you fastest. And then Owen Cook free tour for sure. That way you can get a visual example of what I'm talking about. It's what I'm trying to mimic here, basically, and learn from. And Julian himself. And read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. If you want somewhere to start for like morning stuff to write down, Psalms and Proverbs is good as well. So we're going to leave it right there. Drop a comment. Drop me a like. Comment what you want me to talk about next, what you thought, any questions. That way I can reply with some answers. And share this video with a friend. Just one person helps me out. I'm just trying to get the algorithm going. You know what I'm saying? We're about halfway through. I got 1,500 hours of watch time trying to get to 3,000. Then we're going to be monetized. And as soon as we get monetized, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to do something big. Maybe we'll come out with some merch. I don't know. But I just came out with a book. It's called Soul Proof. I don't have it anywhere near me, but it's out. So if you want a copy, drop your email or DM me at Gabriel1Beck. Instagram, your phone number, your email. If you want a copy sent to your house, send me your house, your address, or P.O. Box. I'll send it to you for free. So I'm out of here. If you need to, pause it. Look at this. This is basically the footnotes of everything I said. Deuces.